He still calls her his wife, even though she can no longer answer. Death doesn't separate people right away. At first, it gently seats them side by side. Sometimes love existed, but it never had time to become a life. They were married, by choice, but a shared life never began. No mornings together, no habits. Death arrived first, and then a photograph appeared. In the 19th century, newlyweds were sometimes photographed after one of them had already died, not for memory, and not for comfort, but to make sure the fact of that bond did not disappear without a trace. The union had to be marked, at least visually, because without an image, that closeness would dissolve as if it had never existed at all. This is not a story of love in the usual sense. It's the story of a bond that never had time to become a life, and this was one way to keep it from vanishing without a trace. Love is a role, not a feeling. Sometimes in these photographs, love had already lived its life. In front of the camera, a husband and wife, not newlyweds, not those who didn't have time. They had been together for many years, and yet, when one of them died, the photograph did not show closeness, it showed order. In the 19th century, marriage was not only a feeling, it was a role, a duty, a place in society. Even death did not release a person from that role. That is why they were seated side by side, straight, calm, the way they were expected to appear to the outside world. They rarely touched each other. They rarely looked into each other's eyes, not because they did not love, but because love was not considered something that should be displayed. The photograph did not record emotions. It recorded structure. The family still existed. The couple was still in its place, even if one of them was already dead. This is not about tenderness. It is about order, which had to remain intact at least in an image. Because in the Victorian world, a life could collapse, but not the role. The space that makes death invisible. The strangest thing in these photographs is not the people. It's the place where they were photographed. Post-mortem portraits were rarely taken near a coffin. They were almost always taken at home, in the living room, in the bedroom, near a table, beside a chair, in places where a person was supposed to be alive. The dead were not removed from the space of life. They were returned to it, seated in a familiar chair, placed beside loved ones, surrounded by everyday objects. The interior worked like a mask. It hid death, made it less visible, almost unreal. In such a room, the person did not look gone. They looked paused. The space told the viewer, nothing has changed here. The house is the same. The furniture is in place. The stage of life remains intact. And that is why these photographs deceive us so easily. We see a room we recognize, and our eyes refuse, at first, to accept that death is present inside it. This was not an attempt to shock. It was an attempt to make loss bearable. As long as a person remains within familiar space, their absence feels temporary. And only later, with time, does it become clear. This was not a pause. It was an ending, carefully disguised as life, when neither the body nor the face is allowed to speak. In these photographs, almost no one touches anyone. Husband and wife sit side by side, very close, yet there is always a distance between them. Their hands rest separately, on their laps, on the armrests. They do not reach for each other, and this only becomes noticeable when you start looking carefully. The same is true of the faces. There are almost no tears, no distorted features, no visible grief. And the strangest part is this. Both faces look lifeless, calm, still, almost identical, as if nothing is being felt, not because there was no pain, but because it was not allowed to be shown. In Victorian culture, closeness was considered dangerous, emotion was seen as excessive, grief was meant to be quiet, and the body, still. Photography tolerated neither gestures nor feelings, so everything fell silent. Hands did not touch, faces did not reveal loss. This is what a respectable death looked like, and today, this is exactly what frightens us most, because we are used to this. If people love, they touch. If they lose, they cry. But here, nothing happens. Not in the body, not in the face, only silence, lifeless and impossible to ignore. Why we can't see the difference, even when it's there? In all of these images, the person on the left is alive. The person on the right is dead. And if it is still hard to see the difference, that is not a mistake. That is the effect of Victorian photography. After death, the gaze does not always cloud immediately. The eyes can remain open, facing forward, but they no longer focus on anything. A dead person does not look at the camera, they look through it. And that is what makes these images unsettling. Because formally, we see two faces. But eye contact happens with only one of them. Everything else feels almost the same. And that is why we begin to doubt our own perception. We know who is alive. We know who is dead. But the image refuses to confirm it. And in that moment, fear does not come from death itself. It comes from how easily death can resemble life. Why these photographs frighten us today? These photographs frighten us not because they show death. We are used to images of death. We see it in films, in the news, in stories. But something else is happening here. Here, death stands too close to love, too close to marriage, to the body, to everyday life. Modern people need a clear boundary between the living and the dead. We want death to exist separately. Outside the home, outside relationships, Victorian photography erases that boundary. It tells us love does not end where the body stops. And that is exactly what creates inner resistance. Because today, love means movement, gestures, touch, emotion. But here, love is motionless. It sits nearby, silent, and it does not leave. What frightens us is not death. What frightens us is the idea that closeness can exist without a response, that someone can continue to call another person a husband, a wife, a beloved, even when they can no longer answer. These photographs destroy our idea of how love is supposed to look. They show love without dialogue, without gestures, without words, only presence. And in that presence, we suddenly recognize our own fear. The fear of remaining close to someone who is already gone. The fear that love can outlive the body. Victorians did not find this strange. For them, love and death were not enemies. They were part of the same experience. Today, we try to separate them. But these photographs do not allow us to do that. They bring us back to a simple, uncomfortable question. If love is real, does it really have to end with death? And that is why we cannot look away. Because these images are not about the past, they are about us, when love could not let go. When we look at these photographs, it may seem that they are only about death, but the longer we stay with them, the more clearly another feeling emerges. This is not a moment of ending. It is a moment in between the time when a person is still here and the time when they must finally be let go. Victorians did not know how to say goodbye quickly, not because they did not understand what had happened, but because they understood it too well. They knew that this person would never answer again, but it mattered to them to stay close a little longer, to sit, to remain silent, to do nothing, simply not to remove them from the space of life too soon. Today we try to do everything faster, to close the door faster, to leave the room faster, to say, it's over as quickly as possible. But love rarely ends on a schedule. Victorian culture did not allow tears in the frame. It did not allow embraces. It did not allow open displays of pain. But it did not forbid being close. And that closeness became the last expression of love. Photography was not a gesture. It was a pause. A moment when no one yet demanded that you let go. A moment when you could sit beside someone just a little longer. The way one sits by a bedside. The way one sits in silence when words no longer help. They seated their loved ones not because they denied death, but because they did not want love to disappear instantly. They did not want the space between he was and he is gone to be empty. They needed to leave a trace, not for history, not for others, for themselves, so that years later they could say, I was there. I did not leave right away. I did not pretend that I felt nothing. I simply remained in silence. And perhaps there is nothing strange about this. Perhaps this is the most human thing we can do, not to rush to let go of those we loved. These photographs still hold us because they contain no hysteria, no horror. They contain a very quiet request. Give me a little more time. And if while looking at them you feel sad, uneasy, or painfully familiar, that is normal. It means you also know that love does not disappear in a single second. Thank you for watching this video until the end. We truly read all your comments. We see your stories, your feelings, and we value them deeply. Please write in the comments what you felt while watching, and if this kind of conversation feels close to you, subscribe to the channel. Here, we do not rush. We stay close, at least a little longer.